Yeah, each messenger. Yeah, there's 7 damage on the table for Gaxiola. Oh my, Lapping takes the hit. That's.
I think this is gonna.
I think that's
he
the
has
game.
some weird trick in his hand. This is gonna kill him.
I think the board is bad for Lapping either way.
Oh yeah, he's certainly not in a good position here, but
his game plan of turn 4 Wurmcoil hit a snag on lands, so. Yep. Gaxiola wasting no time. Putting him to 5. And I think actually...
No, he gets to redirect to Spellskite, right? Oh, no, he's going to exact 0. Because he gets to redirect one of the Mortapod shots to his Spellskite.
Well, that's still not enough.
Yeah, he's going to go to exact
3,
he's gonna go to exact 0.
So an onboard trick there gets Alexander Lapping. Yep, all right. Yep, move it over, and there's the concession. Tough break there. Really needed that turn 4 land.
Although the question that I have is...
Draft number 43.
I'm not sure why you would alternate cast your Gitaxian Probe against a turn 1 Diagraph Ghoul, unless you needed to find a play or a land for that turn. And because he already had 2 mana plus his Ratchet Bomb or his Heartless Summoning, whichever one he wants to cast, it seems like you want to sit on your Gitaxian Probe until the information is actually relevant. Like, let's say he needs to know if Gaxiola has an Edict. All right, that's a reason to fire it off there for an alternate cost.
Remember?
Or if you need a land that turn or action for that turn. But in the absence of those 2 things, I think that taking the 2 damage there is just something you want to avoid doing.
Right, it's 2 damage. You're not playing Delver. 2 damage actually is going to matter here. You know, you're essentially a ramp deck, and aggro decks, their plan against ramp decks is to race you. Yeah. So you have to be careful with that, not just to fire it off. So in the board, Lapping will probably, he has 2 sort of Feast and Famines. You have to use them. You're playing against black.
Yeah, but if they're not there. If they're not here for this, I don't know what they're here for.
Well, at the same token, I mean, it's a little bit of an awkward card in the deck simply because it doesn't get cheaper with mana. It's actually a very expensive spell. Other than that, he has 4 Phantasmal Images, which I think I like in the matchup.
Yeah.
Though it is playing a little bit of the wrong game. You can image you can image Gaxiola's Geralf's Messengers, but that's still kind of...
that's not where you're at. And also, like, Mortapod gives a pretty big disincentive to just having your images, because it's fairly easy for Gaxiola to just kill them for 0.
I think were I Lapping, I would cut the Probes and the Snapcasters and maybe run Swords and Nile Spellbomb, something that can cantrip easily.
Right. Gaxiola has... he has, let's see what he's got on the board here. He has Traitorous Blood, which is fairly ambitious from a colored mana standpoint.
Definitely.
Surprised it's not Active Aggression instead if he was in the market for that sort of effect.
Right.
And then nothing else he has is really compelling. He's got, Torpor Orbs, some Swords, some Extractions, but nothing really. Maybe he wants Extraction because Lapping showed Snapcaster Mage, but...
Well, he does run Haven Ghoul-Lich, so I think Gaxiola may... Like, for example, if he can extract Wurmcoil Engine, I don't know if Lapping can really win. If he can... So, there's actually... Based on that, I think I like Extraction. It takes a little bit of, moxie to just assume that that's the only thing your opponent's ramping into.
Sure.
Playing against an unknown, it's one of the advantages that he probably won't board in Extractions for the Wurmcoils, but if he does, I think it's very strong. Lapping also has 1 Mindslaver in his main deck.
Which he can Treasure Mage up.
Which actually is a pretty backbreak. It's I think a pretty good card against zombies, especially if there's a Mortar Pod in play.
Mortarpod. He also has Falconwrath Aristocrat in his deck as well, which is a nice thing to...
There's a lot of bad decisions you can have your opponent make. Now, does Geralf's Messenger, is it target player or target opponent?
Messenger?
Yeah.
Do not know. Let's go to the tape.
Sort of curiosity, can he, if he gets Mind Slayer, if he can slaver on a losing board, is he able to overcome this?
I don't know the first name. I tried typing in Messenger into Star City Games, and it gave me Messenger Falcons. There we go. Jerry's Messenger. Opponent.
Target opponent. Okay,
Yep.
so they're going to deal their damage no matter what.
Yep. Yeah, but Mindslaver has a bunch of yeah, Geth's Verdict, Tragic Slip, Brimstone Ball. He's got a lot of insane things he can potentially do with a Mindslaver.
If you signed up for
Spellskite, I
number
don't
8,
actually
your
like
event
too
is
much in the
about to start.
matchup.
Please come
You'd
on.
think a
mean,
wall
most
would be great against zombies, but it was very
8.
underwhelming that game.
Although a lot of that had to do with the Heartless summoning. If it was a 0-4 instead of a 0-3,
Right.
it would have been much more efficient at keeping the Messenger at bay.
That's very true.
Both players peeling up their 7.
And I believe they're both keeping.
Yep.
Yep, man. Then we start out. All right. Just turn on tapped land, and we have Diagraph Ghoul again. Lapping, casting, and he's got Heartless Summoning. No Spellskite, but you know, let's see if he can actually follow through on the turn 4 Wormcoil this game. So he has, Grand Architect, now costing blue. So actually, he probably will have a Wormcoil or a Treasure Mage at this point. It's really the 4 lands is the thing which we're not sure if he has. Looks like a Treasure Mage coming out. Finding the Wormcoil.
Commander number 8, come on up to the side.
I think
of the stage.
this start,
Your event is
it's
about to
interesting.
begin.
Only 3 Wormcoils in his deck.
Commander
Lapping seems to prefer to Treasure Mage for them as opposed to just drawing them.
He also needs that kind of redundancy if that's going to be his, basically his only way to win.
Right. No other plays. His hand appears to have some phantasmal images in it. Which, really, the scary news is he could potentially drop a Wormcoil engine and then image it twice. Gaxiola all set on mana, making Cemetery Reaper.
Not that exciting in the matchup.
Well, Cemetery Reaper can get any card out of a graveyard, right? So Cemetery Reaper actually can disrupt a Haven Ghoul Lich plan. And Buried Ruin, Wormcoil Engine.
Pretty good turn.
Yeah, so Reaper may be able to disrupt that part of the game, but really, I mean,
Leaving up three is just
it's your whole
asking
turn.
a lot. Yeah.
Gaxiola now, facing a 5/5 lifelink, only has lapping at 15. Gonna need some help. Mortar Pod actually, I think, pretty relevant in the matchup because it allows him to still. I don't think he has his odds of killing lapping before lapping resolves a Wormcoil. Seems to me like that's
Very challenging. Yeah.
Very challenging. But Mortar Pod will buy him a lot of extra turns to continue toward that goal.
Yeah.
Gaxiola deciding on a play here. Nothing looks too enticing.
Lapping looks like he cannot wait to untap.
And another Cemetery Reaper. Yeah, he's going to empty more worms at him. And here we go. All right. Well, let's make a Wormcoil engine. And a Wormcoil engine. And a Wormcoil engine.
Excellent choices, sir.
So now, facing And a Wurmcoil.
Sure.
So Lapping untaps and casts 4 Wurmcoil engines.
We can see why he was in such a rush to untap. So this is 4 Wurmcoils. Your turn.
Challenging board state here for Josh Gaxiola.
Good luck with your Gray Ogres.
They're pumping each other, so they're 3/3
Look
now.
at how this works out. So like.
Now, Lapping, to be fair, did have to pay Phyrexian mana for those.
Yeah.
But I believe he gained 5 off the swing with the
Yeah,
Wurmcoil.
it's a bad deal.
So he's at 16.
Bad deal. So.
That's just one of those moments.
Sure.
Sure. All right, we're going to have to get some blockers out.
Looking to race. I like it.
It's another Cemetery Reaper.
I like it.
All right. And no targeted. No. And here come the worms.
My stack up Wurmcoils.
And I'm not burning a Wurmcoil engine.
Sure.
16.
Okay.
That last, I think the 6th one was really the one that put it over the
Box
edge.
16. Please report to the side event stage.
It was yeah.
I'm just
All right, on to game 3.
probably the most amusing game of
Yeah.
Magic we've seen today. Oh man.
We finally settled the Cemetery Reaper versus Wurmcoil engine debate. Wurmcoil better once it's in play.
So, going to have to avoid these Wurmcoil engines.
This is a matchup where Gaxiola probably would like to stress in the sideboard. That was
Yeah.
the one sideboard card I had in my Zombies deck that I was actually thrilled with. Brought in a bunch, and it was just awesome.
Right, because I mean that whole chain of plays. Remember, if the first Wurmcoil doesn't hit, that's a
He has
very.
he has a bunch of stupid, moronic metamorphs. And
Well, his new plan is to make his own army of Cemetery Reapers at that point, which
just out zombie him, which is probably a type of game that Gaxiola can win.
right. Wow. All right.
That was awesome.
So really, that's kind of a textbook of how Lapping wants this to go down.
Please report to the side event stage. Carl Rodriguez.
So we saw 4 Phantasmal images sided in, most likely. Maybe Grand Architect leaving, maybe Ratchet Bomb leaving. I still hope Jataxian Probe leaving, but I'm
Actually,
not sure.
I don't know. The zombie deck is actually a matchup where I would want Gataxian Probe because the type of there's so many removal spells they can potentially be playing, like whether or not they have Slip, whether or not they have Verdict, whether or not they have
Right.
Incinerate, Volley. Like they potentially have a very diverse suite of removal spells. And so having the information before you start going about your business is actually really
It's actually
valuable
probably pretty good.
Yeah.
You need to be sure, though. I would try as much as possible to actually pay for the Jataxian Probe.
Yes, and it's going to be even more important on the draw. Like I said, I think that first game, Lapping Probe, where it appeared to me that he didn't need to, and that 2 damage ended up being like a turn because he died at exact 0.
Right. Into being very relevant. So yes, when Tom and David Sharpen are asking why they didn't get a future match, he said, well, if they can cast 4 Wurmcoil engines in 1 turn,
Yeah.
then all right.
Come talk to me when you can cast 4 Wurmcoils. Casting and flashing back Lingering Souls, 4 Wurmcoils.
4
Your
spirits,
call. It's your
4
call.
Wurmcoils.
What do you think is more impressive? It's your call.
As a reminder, both these players at X1, a win here. The winner of this match will need 1 more win, likely to be in the top 8.
Yeah, probably a win and a draw we're looking at for either player. For the winner of this match,
Yeah,
rather.
not a guarantee. I haven't looked at the tiebreaker math, but especially when you're looking, there will only be 2 undefeateds at the end of round 7. You're probably looking at a lot of draws in the last round.
Both players looking like they are ready to go. Also look like they're having a pretty good time.
I'm apologizing for last game.
Listen, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do you like that on camera.
It's just so heartless.
Last call for Carl Rodriguez. Carl Rodriguez, please report to the side event
It's good to see 2 players like running this deep in the tournament and still like clearly having a very good time.
Yeah, Serious Magic is overrated.
Yeah, not quite serious mode.
Players in draft number 44.
All right. Gaxiola on the play, and Josh appears to be mulliganing.
Going to take a mulligan here.
Public event stage.
Lapping appears to be keeping 7.
And one of the things I like, when he keeps a 7, you have to be worried about that. His plan is so linear that you almost have to look at his hand and say, turn foil, worm coil, click yes or no.
Yep.
If yes, keep. If no, don't. So, bad news for Josh that he seems keeps it pretty quickly.
Although, in fairness, Lapping probably has a lot of hands that he has to keep that are missing a piece. Because
Right.
that's just kind of the nature of the deck.
Having it in your opening 7 every time is pretty ambitious.
Please come to the side event stage. Robert Chambly.
Like we said before, it really has to be summoning. It has to be Heartless Summoning.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even surprise me if Architect's even in the sideboard at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember that when I had originally tried a deck with both of them was that Grand Architect is pretty neat, but really, like, Heartless Summoning was where that was where the meat of the deck was.
Right, yeah. I played one in the side event in San Diego, and it's like, won the match, but the game where you had turn 2 Heartless Summoning I was like, holy crap.
Yes, you can play so much.
Standard winner box number 16. Come on up to the
Shuffling his opponent's deck.
Carl Rodriguez. And standard
All
winner
right.
box number 16.
6 on 7.
Also, Nico Scarpet.
What we're hoping for.
And $10 draft number 44. And Eric Grigio. And
Looks at
$10
doesn't
draft
seem to be
number
too had.
4.
That looks like not the hand he wants, but he's going with it. And he's got the Diagraph Ghoul again. And the red mana, so
Marshall LaForte.
2 things down, 1 drop, red mana, check.
Please come to the side event stage. Marshall LaForte.
In a lot of ways, would you say that this matchup comes down, it's more of a check on Alex's deck? That if is the question being asked
Right.
here, can Alexander execute his game plan?
Right. The amount of disruption that Gaxiola presents is actually pretty minimum.
Right.
Like, it's got a couple kill spells and, like, a turn 5 clock. It's not... he's not doing anything to really disrupt what's going on, so then it's more of an issue of, like, does Lapping just hit his pieces?
Yeah, as we saw, game 1, he stumbled on the land, lost. Game 2, he hit them all one-handedly. There is a bit, with active aggression, or not active aggression, sorry, Traitorous Blood, he can actually steal games a little bit. Gaxiola with a very fast start. Actually, Traitorous Blood, one of the lesser red parts of the card is that it gives trample. So actually, could keep him in this game. This is a lot of damage he's facing down. Obviously, if he has a spell skite here, it'd be great. He's not going to, so Lapping will go down to a fairly low life total. Even a treasure.
Not a bad mulligan.
No, an excellent hand. Not even going to waste a Cemetery Reaper.
Ooh.
Now remember, Fume Spitter is a horror, not a zombie, so that's only 7, putting him to 11.
So
maybe he can race the Worm Coils.
So when I said a turn 5 clock, what I meant was a turn 4 clock.
Is he dead? Is it next turn lethal?
I mean, if he's got a Brimstone Volley, maybe another Reaper is lethal. 4, 8, 11, yeah. Another Cemetery Reaper or Brimstone Volley are both lethal.
Gonna cast
Okay.
Grand Architect.
Sure.
I'm contemplating. He has to be pretty careful about what he does here. He may decide to cast a Treasure Mage here as well, which is actually a Phantasmal Image. It's going to be... won't really matter. It's probably going to get Fume Spittered.
Yeah, I mean, he's either copying Architect and doing something this turn or copying Fume Spitter, right? It was like...
Right.
That's basically it.
And, so what Josh should do is let it resolve and then kill Fume Spitter on his own turn. He doesn't want Lapping to be able to copy Architect and make mana, for example.
Yeah, it looks like it's on Architect and it's copying.
And it's making mana. Metamorph. All right. So I actually really like this. He doesn't have a Worm Coil, though.
Yeah, that would be...
I like how he's stabilizing here. The question is next turn, is he going to dump a worm onto the board?
Right.
And Nile Spellbomb. So, okay, he paid that with Phyrexian mana. Tapping that as well. No, deciding against it. Tapping the that for a Ratchet Bomb. All right, that's a lot of stuff he just did. So you have 3.
But a lot of it doesn't impact the board
Remember,
this
3
turn.
Grand Architects means that Grand Architect's a 3/5 right now. Actually capable of brawling and winning most brawls.
So the big question is if Gaxiola has a Brimstone Volley, since I think that just ends the game this turn.
Right.
Otherwise, Lappy might actually be able to get into his next turn.
He can get into his next turn, but then with only 1 card left, what is it? The question is, what does his next turn have?
Worm Coil plus a Sea of Blockers.
Worm Coil, I mean, it has to have the Worm Coil, I
Yes.
think. So yeah, our 4 undefeated decks are 3 Delvers and a green-white. Looking, we just got some results here. And actually at the X1, we have a decent number of, well, a lot of Delver decks, a decent number of pod decks.
Players who signed up for standard winner box number 17. Your event is about
Josh
to start.
swinging
Please
the
come
team.
to the public event stage.
Probably getting a confirmation on how big it is.
Standard winner box number 17.
I think he has to block the Cemetery Reaper here.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
And then, block Cemetery Reaper, bring Ratchet Bomb to 1. And
Clear them out and then
clear them out, hope for no burn spells. I don't see another play, really. Yep.
Yep.
All right, so remember the Architect is a 3/5. Even if he fume spits at the image, still will die. But right now, Lapping will drop to 2. Which puts Geralf's Messenger as an out.
Is it 3/5? Is that the -1?
Oh, sorry, it's a 2/4 because Heartless Summon.
Oh, he has a Brimstone Volley.
Oh, he just has the Brimstone Volley. So Gaxiola
take a
gets
little-
the turn 4 kill.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably... All right. So, Black Red Zombies manages to take down the Heartless Summoning deck.
Yep. And that was an awesome mulligan for Gaxiola.
Yeah. Can't really